Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial from the Drawing Factory. As always, it's Vince today who is going to teach you how to draw Goku from the Japanese manga Dragon Ball Z, invented by Akira Toriyama and published by Toei Animation. Son Goku is a fictional superhero and the main protagonist of the Dragon Ball manga series. He's based on Sun Wukong, a main character in the classical Chinese novel Journey to the West. Goku is introduced as an eccentric, monkey-tailed boy who practices martial arts and possesses superhuman strength. He meets Bulma and joins her on a journey to find the wish-granting Dragon Balls. For this tutorial, I used the drawing software SketchBook Pro, but you can use whichever software you're comfortable working with, or you can do it simply using pencil and paper. There is really nothing too fancy with using a drawing software. It's just a convenient way for me to draw on screen and record this tutorial for you. So let's get started on how to draw Goku step by step. Here you can see where I started with my drawing and the reference image I used for this tutorial. I've already overlaid my smart grid to the reference drawing, which I use in most of my tutorial as a visual guide to reproduce accurately the reference drawing. If you want to know more about the smart grid, please let me know in the comment section below. I might eventually decide to make a tutorial to explain exactly how it works. As usual, start with the head, torso and hips, three big masses that are easy enough to draw and will help you then position the remaining of Goku's body. Proceed by drawing the legs and feet. Use the grid as a reference. You can draw directly the trousers, however. A different and more correct approach would be to draw the legs first and then drawing the trousers on top. Now, draw the left arm of Goku, and given this particular pose he's in, you won't need to draw the other arm, which is almost completely occluded by the body, except for the very tip of the right hand, which can be seen poking out a little. If you want to learn how to draw Goku correctly, you have to learn how to draw Goku's hair. No one knows how Saiyans can keep those crazy hairstyles, however, that is one of their main distinctive elements. So take your time here and using the smart grid, try to match the shape of the hair as closely as possible to the reference. Okay, the first step of this tutorial was basically to establish the main parts of Goku's body. So now it's time to start adding the detail to the drawing. As always, before moving on, make sure you're happy with the proportions and the various parts so far, as it's going to be more difficult to change them when more detail is laid in. Start here by working at the upper part of Goku's uniform. Keep moving down and start adding detail to the trouser portion of the uniform. Here it's important to capture the looseness and bagginess of the trousers, so make sure you add a lot of side folds here to both legs. Make sure to finish off the application of the details, working on the boots and finally the face of Goku. Use the smart grid again as a guide to position eyes, nose and mouth, and try to capture the expression of Goku. Here I worked on the left hand as well and refined it a bit. Before moving to the inking part, I encourage you to refine even further the basic drawing. You do not need to do it if you want, but it's nice to have a very solid base and a clear idea on where the ink is going to go. Some artists leave the sketch very sketchy and the actual artistic decision on the drawing at the inking stage, and you could definitely do that. As for me, I prefer to have a solid drawing underneath so that the inking becomes very relaxing. I know already where all the lines that need to be inked are. Create a new layer, if you're using a drawing software, on top of the sketch and use a simple round brush with a constant size to ink the whole drawing. If you look at the reference drawing, the inking is very simple and without much line variation, so we're trying to emulate this kind of style here. Start inking top to bottom and left to right. If you are left-handed, it's obviously right to left, to minimize ink or pen smudging. If you're using a drawing software, do as you please. Now it's time to color your drawing. From now on, make sure to create all your coloring layers underneath the ink layer. As usual, we'll lay down the flat colors first, and then we'll add shadows and lights on different layers. However, in this case, due to the particular style of the reference image, there will be no blending between the different tones. Instead, the various tones will be separated by hard edges. To create this effect, we'll be using the lasso tool to select the different areas to color to keep edges very well defined. First thing, let's color the uniform in a light orange. Here I decided to also apply a color grading to it. That's why you'll see that the bottom is lighter than the top part of the uniform. You do not need to apply this grading if you do not want to. Continue filling the various areas of the drawing with base colors. Here are the armband, the boots and sash. Now lay out the hair color and the main skin tone. That was easy, wasn't it? At this point we start adding the shadows. As I anticipated, to add the shadows, use the selection tool to draw the areas that you want to color with a darker tone. This simple trick will keep the hard edge of the shadows, as we want them not to blend with the flat color underneath. In this particular drawing, the light is coming mainly from underneath the character, so the dark spots should be applied accordingly. In practice, follow my drawing or the reference image and use it as a guide to position all these spots as accurately as you can. Here, you can see how I finished positioning all the dark sections on the uniform, and the same identical technique will be used for the remaining of the tutorial, so arm yourself with patience and keep on drawing these shadows. The result will be well worth it. Here you can see the shadowing on the body. And when you're done with that, apply then the actual lights on the body using the same technique. Finally, you can add shadows and light to the sash, the armband that Goku is wearing. See how the whole drawing really comes together. I feel you're really learning how to draw Goku, aren't you? And here is the final result. Gorgeous, isn't it? I've added a few final touches to the drawing, in particular some roguish single hairs coming out of Goku's head, and I finished drawing the tip of the right hand which is poking out from the side of Goku's body, and it's important to finish the drawing correctly. If you notice, I've also drawn the little symbol on Goku uniform, and you can actually add in your own detail if you want to personalize further the drawing. I'm so happy on how this turned out for me, but what about yours? How did yours turn out? I'd love to see it. Have you learned how to draw Goku? I really hope you guys liked this tutorial, and if you want me to make more of these, please let me know in the comment section below. It's really important for me to understand what kind of content you would like me to make, so if you could spare the time, that would be absolutely fantastic. Also, you can check my website www.drawingfactory.com if you want to receive free weekly drawing tutorials in your inbox, or if you want, you can submit your drawing to our public gallery. For this week, it's all from me, and I'll catch you all drawing next week with a new tutorial. And as always, thanks for watching.